YouTube world, part 2. So I'm going to take you in this video through how I mix my pouring medium, my paints. We talked about the colours that we're going to use in the last video. See how long that takes before I actually commit to do the flip cup in this video. I think I probably will. Let's see how it goes. So I'm going to take you through my pouring medium. Now, this is probably, I would say, for people in the UK. If I lived in Canada, America, Australia, I'd be using Floetrol. And we can get our Floetrol here, but I personally don't like it so much. And before I get going, I used to get really worked up on which was the best pouring medium to use. And I've tried them all until I learnt that consistency is probably more important than the pouring medium you use. Sharp intake of breath. But for me, it's true, because I've been using PVA and water for a while and I'm really happy with the results. And I'm learning about different paint densities, how to get cells without using silicone. So, without further ado, this is how I mix up my pouring medium. Screwfix, no nonsense PVA. It's about $9.99, under £10. Oh dear, under £10 if you can open the stuff. There we go. Oh. So I have actually got one here which I will use up. Now I use scales, shock horror as well. It's all coming out today, isn't it? I measure everything. I think the batteries might be going in this actually. Oh no, wrong button. It's so covered in paint I can't see what I'm doing. I'm going to change this to mil, and I'm going to put 700 ml of this glue in my jug. So what can I tell you today? We are just about heading into lockdown as of 12 o'clock this evening. Can't go anywhere, can't do anything. So I know that I have 300 ml thereabouts of water in here. Let's move those out of the way. This is normal water. I used to use distilled water from my dryer, which you can probably hear in the background actually. I used to filter it through a piece of muslin and a sieve. And I don't know why really, but I stopped using it because it didn't really make an awful lot of difference. Just use normal tap water now. So I'll just add the water a little bit at a time. So there we have it, mixed to the right consistency. I will then now mix up some white. Now normally I will decant this into a container with a lid on and just use it when I need it. Okay, so I'm going to start by mixing white. I'm going to change the unit back to grams. This is how I do it. Everybody is different. I use Amsterdam white. This, I haven't yet used the X4. Hold on. Same people make same paints. These are slightly cheaper. So I haven't got any white of the X4, so I'm going to use the Amsterdam. Cup. Now I usually make up a bigger quantity of white than I do any of my other colours. Why do I do that? Because I use more white than anything else. And find some gloves. Here we go. I'm going to put in 50 grams, 50 grams of paint. And do you know what? You don't have to be that exact. I just am exact. That's how I like to make cakes too. Now, I am doing 1 part paint, 2 parts pouring medium. I've got 50 grams of paint, so I will do 100 grams of pouring medium. Mixing. You're not whipping eggs. I am slowly mixing. So I'm not going like that. Just it's quite good actually. Don't do that. What not to do. Okay, you're mixing. You're pressing your spoon against the side. Actually, this white's very easily mixed. Now, consistency. I always start off by mixing this white because I don't actually add anything else to it. Occasionally I might add a tad bit of water, but if you see, hopefully you can, it leaves a mound and then it goes. If I was making a cake, a fatless sponge doing a figure of 8, it would leave a little ribbon and then go. 1, 2, it's there for 2 seconds. Gone. Gone. That is the consistency that I will match all my other paints to. So to match consistencies, you would add water. So one reason why you need to add more water to certain colours is because various colours have different paint densities. Metallics, for instance, will take on more water. And the other thing to bear in mind is written down here so you can pause and read it. Okay. Obviously, I'm not going to film all of me mixing up these colours. So this is my raw umber, and I'm going to put the whole tube. These little tubes, I'm trying to get through them from Arteza. They're probably not economical to use, but they are quite handy for workshops because it just seems to give the right amount. About 30 grams of paint in a small tube, and it goes straight in the bin. there's no waste. 30 grams of paint to 60 grams of Pura Medium. Is that right? 30 grams seems a bit much. 0. 22, that's right. I knew it was about 22. Okay, so 44 grams of Pura Medium. So many people eyeball this. I'm just not that clever. Now, just want to show, this highlights what I was talking about with the different paint densities. This is the white that I made up. This is yesterday now. It's proven to be quite time consuming, this. But then it is. Planning, this is why I'm doing these videos. Planning, mixing for fluid art takes a long time. And we always jump it in at the nice part when we film, when we actually paint. But we've done all the preparation behind the scenes. So it will give you, this will give you an idea. Still 2-to-1 ratio, 2 different brands of paint, 2 different colours. The white, 2-to-1, perfect consistency. This is incredibly thick. You wouldn't use this in an acrylic pour. Well, I wouldn't. So I will add water to get it to the same consistency as that. I'm going to go ahead and mix up all my colours now. I'm going to turn the camera off and you'll come back in, and then I'll show you what I do to make sure they're all the same consistency. So I have my basic colours mixed up according to my list. I will grab a couple of changes. I didn't have that much raw umber, so I've made up some Van Dyke Brown, Amsterdam. I've got my whites, got my silver, got my gold, got my raw sienna. I've also got some very dark copper, which I think might be a good addition. And I've got my black. So, on standby, here I have some Amsterdam grey blue, I have some golden teal, and I also have just some carbon black fluid, and I often just put a couple of drops in to different paints to get them to the right shade that I want. So that is what I'm going to do now. I'm going to start off with my raw umber here, and I'm going to make half of it darker, and then I'm going to make half of my Van Dyke Brown lighter by adding white. Swap into voiceover here because I've had to cut a lot out, otherwise you'd be sat there watching forever. Get yourself a colour wheel, and I'm just explaining here complementary colours. For instance, blue and yellow, if you put them side by side, they complement each other, they make each other pop. If you mix complementary colours together, they kill each other off, they're dead, you get mud. But if you add just a little bit of yellow to blue, then you desaturate the colour. So what I'm doing here is I'm working all of those colours to match my photograph by adding complementary colours, darkening and lightening, till I get what I want. Before we go any further, we're nearly onto the good bit. I was just thinking to myself, oh, I'm 2 videos down nearly into the painting. What if the painting is really bad? And then I've just done all this work for nothing because it won't be aired. But let's hope that's not the case. Consistency test. I always do this. I don't care how long I've been painting. If you get different consistencies in a flip cup or in a ring pour, any kind of fluid art, You're going to get the paints going at different rates, unless you want to, of course. I have these tiles left over from a tiling job, and they're very handy because I just wash them and reuse them. So I'm not going to show you all of my consistency tests. In fact, let's do it with the light colours so you can really see against the black. I will take a little bit of paint, about that much. Same amount, as near as damn it, that you possibly can. Let's leave that there. That's from one row of paints, okay? I'm simply going to do that. Now, don't forget my paints are quite thick for flip cup consistency. So I can see that in this one here, which is my silver, I need to add a little bit more water. Those others are as near as damn it. That is how I do my consistency test, and that's what I'm going to do now with all my colours.